How to get jacked and lean in 13 weeks. We are going to be speaking about another client result done by the Gorilla Platoon, and you can hopefully extract the lessons learned, both the tactics in how we progressively got him down to that condition, and the principles that in order to turn him into the man that he needs to become to obtain a physique of such stature, which absolutely fair play to him. He did very, very well. For those of you that are new to the channel, warm welcome. My name is Tom Sergi. I run the Gorilla Platoon, which is an online physique transformation program where we get results like this. We're on 20 for the year. I'll be brutally honest. My only mission, my only goal, the only thing I care about this year is achieving 50 by the 31st of December. So if you like the way I approach things in my mission and you want to be part of it, that'd be cool. And you can, I'll plug it towards the end anyway. But let's give you the value up front and first. So main title of this video: how to get jacked and lean in 13 weeks. So first thing we needed to do was understand his start position and then set him up accordingly. Now, to be honest, why I like this one is a lot of you may actually be in this sort of a condition. You see, we can see this guy has trained for a good few years in the gym. Let's be honest, and you probably have too. This guy is not ridiculously fat by any means. To tell you the truth, he's not really that fat at all. You can see there's some adipose tissue around here, obviously around the lower back, and we can't see the abs. But it's not absolutely horrendous. There is a little bit of a divot here and here, so not completely out of condition by a long shot. But I think that's a lot of you, to be honest. Either you finished a bulk and you're in this level of body fat. Now you're thinking, I've finished my bulk. Time to fucking crystallize, cash in on the work I've done and showcase what's really hiding under there. Or you've always been sat around this point and struggled to get to the lean goal that you really want to achieve. So I think this is going to be quite relatable to a lot of you. And some of you may be higher on the body fat percentage, but you're going to get to this point. You're going to get to where I believe he was sat at 18% body fat after assessing his condition. We knew he was 95 kilograms. If you're 95 kilograms and 18% body fat, I tell you now, you're going to have a shit ton of muscle underneath you. Unless you're like 6'6", then fair enough. So what we need to set up was his input and output. So for someone of this body composition, you're going to start fairly high in calorie, just shy of 2.6. Protein is pretty much, for someone like this, you're touching not far off, around 190 grams. Fats set to 20% of this target, and the rest you're going to fill with carbs, because at the end of the day, carbs are going to be your driving factor for performance in the gym, so we want to keep those as high as we can for as long as we can. You don't need to start on cardio to begin with. This is going to be a lever that we do end up pulling, but the food, the deficit in itself, will already do a solid amount of the work. So don't put your cardio up high to begin with. You don't need to. Steps they're non-negotiable. You want to knock off 10k each day. And again, while you're heavier, they're going to add a lot of, you're going to get a lot more juice at the squeeze of steps because you're walking around with a heavier frame. They're low cost to fatigue, but they are a higher cost to time in your day. Only thing to consider. But I do believe, as human beings, we should be trying to push 8 to 10k per day walking. And his goal and the mission was just to get shredded in essentially as quick as humanly possible. He's your typical, 12-week transformation. This one was 13 weeks we did, just to really be sure that we were content and there was the last little bit of detail that may or may not have needed to come off. So that was how we set him up. So we know we've got his scale weight, his body fat percentage. We know his starting calories. We're not going to run cardio, but we are going to run steps. And the goal, essentially, to put it into numbers, you're talking, this guy needs to lose about 10 kilos, which actually is what we did lose, and just below 10% is going to be the goal, which, as you saw the start photo, I do believe he achieved. So now I'm going to give you the tactics. This is what to do on a weekly basis. Now, for context, you are going to track your scale weight daily. You're going to take photos weekly. You're going to track your workouts. For context about his workout, it's if you're a returning viewer of the channel, you'll know the workout split I generally use for guys. It's a 5-day split, if you can go to the gym 5 days, geared towards an aesthetic upper body physique. Push, pull, legs, rest day, chest and back, arms and delts, one more rest day. Repeat that. That gives enough frequency, volume, and obviously intensity is going to be something you have within the program itself. So that was a split we used. Now, from here, I'm going to give you the tactics that we used on a weekly basis to make the progress. So going back to it, and before I interrupted myself, you're going to track your workouts. You're also going to make sure you track your sleep and sleep 8 hours per night. You're going to track your steps, cardio when it comes in, and of course, You're going to track your nutrition to hit the goal, so you know that you're within point. I know people give it a bad rap, tracking calories, and you don't need to. To be honest, if you want to get in shape really quick, it's efficient. I won't lie to you. I do it for my guys, and I get results in good time. So it is efficient. Is it psychopathic? I mean, do you track your spending? Do you know how much is in your bank? Do you know when you spent money? Probably, right? Because it's all tracked anyway on most banking apps. So like tracking calories, kind of the same. Energy expenditure, what you spend, probably good to know. Okay, so I get it. It gets a bad rap, but it fucking works, boys. So the tactics. This is how we progressed. Let me just move the timer out of the way. So this was a 13-week transformation, and this was everything we did. Now, the reason I give you this, and you're not going to copy this verbatim because it might not be relevant to you, but the point and what I'm making is, what I want you to get into the habit of doing is you've tracked all your data, you've assessed the data, and then you understand, do I need to make a change? And what will happen is you will run the data for a week. You will get a result. It may be that you made progress. You dropped 1 kilogram. Perfect. Don't touch the plan. It may be that you ran the program for a week and you didn't make progress, but you didn't stick to the plan 100%. Then the problem is not the plan. The problem is you and the principles, and I'm going to come on to that in the next slide, so I won't steal the chips for that. Or the third reason is you ran the plan with good adherence, but you didn't see change. Why is that? Well, because the plan now needs tweaking. Your body will adapt to whatever you put it on over a certain period of time. So you can rinse, especially in this fast game of like 10, 11, 12, 13, even 14-week transformations. You can be quite quick with the changes. I'd say at least every 2 weeks you're going to make a change, which as you look at the screen there's not more than 2 consecutive weeks on the bounce where a change wasn't made. So that can absolutely be done. So now this is what we did do. Week 1 we ran and we saw a great drop off. So we didn't need to make an adjustment to the plan, which is good. It just means the way we set him up actually was in accordance for him. Now week 2 I then went straight up to 30 minutes of daily cardio. Why do you think I did that? Well, if he's on best part of 2,600 calories, it's a fair amount of food. A fair amount of food will drive performance in the gym, will retain and or build tissue, which as we look at the physique at the end, you can determine whether he did or didn't. I'll leave that entirely up to you. So I don't want to take from food, I really don't. So what I want to do is I want to push his output, I want to push his cardio. And why is that good? Well, everyone would prefer to be a fitter human being. Given both things equal, if I say, do you want to be fit or not, keep everything the same, you'd be like, yeah, I'd rather be fitter. So we push cardio. How do we do that? Well, we're looking for something that's non-impact. Because you notice that says 30 minutes of daily cardio. That means every day you need to do 30 minutes. So you're going to want to do something that you can do daily. Cross trainer, bike, incline treadmill. Heart rate 120 to 130, zone 2, nice and steady, and that will work very, very well for you. Week 3, didn't need to make any changes because we saw a great result. However, there was a social event to plan for. Now, you guys have lives. Of course you have lives. In 13 weeks, I don't expect nothing to come up. No social event whatsoever. I mean, fair play if it doesn't, but let's be honest, something's going to come up. So we need to plan for that. How do we plan for that? Well, what we can do in this instance was we banked some calories. Because you're on 2,600 calories, and 20% of that is fats. What we can do is look to pull from that exact amount for that week. And it's going to give us a higher amount of calories back, because there's 9 calories per gram. So if we pull from the fats, we've got a fair amount of calories through. We can bank those across the week. So I actually pulled 100 calories just for that week to allow him 600 calories for when he went to a wedding event. And that's what one means that you can do. Week 4, we then needed to adapt, and we pushed to 40 minutes of daily cardio. Week 5, we then pushed the steps up because he could achieve more steps to 12k daily. Week 6, we didn't make any changes. So now, going into week 7, look how long that's been. Over half of the transformation, I've not touched his food once. That's pretty nice, isn't it? His metabolism is going to be in a very, very healthy space. But then at that point, it was I know the end goal. I know how well he's progressed. And this guy was dropping pretty much a kilo a week. I mean, if it was 13 weeks, dropped 10 kilos, pretty much a kilo a week. But it was at that point, now I can start fucking turning dials. Now I can get aggressive. Now I can make him suffer and get to the goal. So bang, 180 calories removed. Next week, bang, 200 calories removed. Next week, push the cardio to 60 minutes daily. The reason I hold off from this, because notice we're 40 minutes, so for here, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40. To push to 60, when you're on 60 minutes, that's quite an investment of time. That's an extra hour a day on top of your sessions. So I don't play that card till I really have to, because I understand you guys are busy and you have you have things to do. We didn't need to make any changes in week 10, and then we went one more aggressive pulling another 200 calories. And then in week 12, we didn't need to make any change. We just left it. A little bit more detail came out, and that had us at the finished product. So this is when we made changes, why we made changes. Obviously, this is personal to him, but you can take the tactic and apply it to when you're doing your own transformation. Now, the next thing to discuss, and probably the most important part, is the principles. The tactics are nice, and they will work, and absolutely they will work, but the problem is people don't fucking stick to tactics, because it doesn't emotionally stimulate them, it doesn't mean anything to them. The reason people can't stick to tactics is because, A, they're just not the person that thinks they can get to the goal. Like, if I set you a lofty... If you've never seen your abs in your life and I just tell you to follow those tactics, you won't do it because you don't even believe you can get abs. You don't even believe you're the type of guy that can say no to things when things come up. You don't believe that you even deserve the abs. So even if you follow it, you'll get to the goal and you'll fuck it up somehow. You'll stand on your own dick and get in the way. If you've ever got a girl and she was the fittest girl you had ever been with, you would fuck it up a lot quicker than you did with the other ones because you're at a new level and you don't quite think you're ready for that level of caliber of girl. So you'll stand on your own dick, you'll do something to self-sabotage, you'll treat him just a little bit more of a pedestalizing way than you did with the other ones. She'll sense it, she'll pull back, because she's the highest value girl you ever got. You'll chase a bit more, and before you know it, you fucked it, and she's off. She's off to the fucking races, and you're there chasing after her with your dick in your hand. That's the principle, because you didn't do the internal work to become the man that decided, I deserve this. I am better than this. So how do we do this? Well, I always say to the guys when they come on the coaching, and honestly, like, the physique is nice, the tactics are nice. That's our vehicle, boys. That's our vehicle that we use. What this is really about, but I can't title it like this, or I can't tell you this in the start because it won't catch any it won't resonate with anyone or catch any attention. But as we slowly integrate this into your brain, you're like, this makes sense. This is more important because it's all about the principles in life. It's never about the tactics. You could do whatever you wanted to, because the tactics are out there for everything, but you won't do it because you haven't got the underlying principles. So the first principle we're going to develop is discipline. Now, everyone likes to think they're disciplined, but they're fucking not. I'm not disciplined because I go to the gym. I fucking love going to the gym. I'm disciplined when I decide I'm going to wake up this morning. I'm not going to check my phone. There may be messages that needed to be attended to, but this video needs making. So I'm going to keep the phone away, do the video first. Yours is going to be the discipline of saying no to your friends when they say, let's go out for dinner. That takes balls. That takes character. You will be challenged. You will be called a lizard. You will be told, what the fuck, why aren't you coming to dinner with us? We're going to go and enjoy this thing. And you've got to say no. You've got to tell the people you like, no, I'm not doing that. That develops your character. That develops your self-respect. The reason people aren't in the shape they want to be is because they don't respect themselves enough to do the thing. The reason people chase the bitch out of their life is because they don't respect themselves enough to tell her to get fucked when she's crossing boundaries. That's the main problem. What people can do is they can do that for a day, 2 days, a week, but they're not that consistent with it because it's fucking work. It's fucking hard work. To change how you view yourself and how you act on a day-to-day basis is fucking hard work. It will feel like a second job. Do you know why? Because for the longest of time, you have stacked, let's draw this out. For the longest time, you have stacked rocks in your bad habits. Move the timer out of the way, let's go. So, for the longest of time, this is your basket, and this is the basket of who you want to be. You have stacked rocks in this basket for the longest period of time. These rocks denote your habits. Your habits denote your identity, which the bridge is kind of your identity. This is the where you are now, and this is where you want to get to. You may have 1 or 2 rocks in here. You've been going to bed at the same time every night. That's a big fucking win, boys. If you can do that, your life will change significantly. But you've got all these fucking stupid, useless habits that are not serving you to get to the goal. It's the eating the wrong food. It's the not saying no to things. It's the I missed one of my gym sessions this week. It's that I missed my steps this week. It's that I didn't track my data this week because it's fucking effort and it's work. And now, going back to it, the reason it feels like you're swimming upstream to change who you are as a person is because you've got all of the old you weighing you down and confirming your identity of being a humanoid piece of shit. I'm only joking, but basically that is true. So what we need to do is we need to trim and stack. We need to, and it is much easier to, cut out your bad habits. If you can cut out your bad habits one by one, once per week, so like you've got 6 of them, you're like, week 1, we're going to get rid of this. Week 2, we're going to get rid of this. What that's going to do is obviously decrease the load in this seesaw analogy. Now, obviously, you are going to need to replace the bad habit with new habits. It's much easier to stop doing things than it is to do new things. But eventually, when you've stopped doing the bad things, you'll have that much time in your brain and be telling you, oh, just go back and do that old thing. You really need to stack new rocks inside the new basket of getting you towards the goal. And when you can swing the balance the other way, when the new you outweighs the old you, that is when it becomes easy to change and be the person that you need to become. That is when you can be consistent towards the goal, and that is when it's going to feel like you're swimming downstream instead of upstream, and you are becoming that person that you need to. Now, the third principle that will allow you to get to this goal is your ability to be resilient. And the reason I say this is, again, going back to like the wedding event analogy, if we didn't plan for it, let's say I'm not that invested. I give in the plan and stuff, but I'm not that invested. Obviously, I get in the fucking trenches with you. I'm like, send me the menu of where you're going to eat. This is what you're going to do X, Y, and Z. Happy? Good, right, let's go with that. But imagine I wasn't like that, and you went to the wedding, and it got a little bit out of hand, this wedding, oh yeah, congrats. And you had a little bit more than you needed to, and you put on extra weight, and you felt like shit the next day. Where people really fuck up is, and they don't have any resilience, the time it will then take from that day to actually getting back to the plan is a lot longer than it fucking should be. And because of that, they never really make the progress. So A, it's hard enough to say no to these events and not fall off, but when they do fall off, they haven't got any resilience, they haven't trained their muscle of resilience to fall off and to get straight back to the goal as quick as humanly possible. Because you've got to go through that uncomfortable period of comfort to the suffering level. It's almost like when we used to do physical training in the army in the mornings, and we'd have to break through the ice, and like no one really likes to do it, but let's be honest, the quicker you just get in and break it and move it, like the anxiety in your head has been decreased. So just get in and fucking do it. But it's the same, just get straight back to the plan and then start moving forward. But that's easier said than done. If you're a man of resilience, you will do that quicker. If you're not, then it'll take a bit longer. But this is what we're here to develop. The resilience, the ability of you to fall off and then get back to it. And if we can develop those things, discipline, consistency, and resilience, over the time path, you will obtain the thing you worked so hard for. So here was the end result that we managed to achieve. Now, it would be really fucking painful, wouldn't it, if you got down to this condition and then you fucked it up. And that would happen if you ignored my principles slide and just focused on the tactics. That will happen, 100%. That's why people get in shape and then they fuck it up. But if you became that person of discipline, your habits are instilled in you. You've done 13 weeks of habits, of collecting data that you can do habits, that you can then fall back on. You've showed 13 weeks of consistency. That's enough time to change anyone. If you're consistent, that's enough time to change anyone. And you've showcased you can be resilient. At this point, you now look like a fucking Greek god. Most importantly, you know how to keep it because you're now the new guy. You don't have bedhead. You look like a fucking G. You see the point? So that's what this is really about. And I can't say this in the beginning because it doesn't really matter. What matters is how to get fucking shredded and jacked in 13 weeks. But most importantly, that's how you fucking keep it. That's what I wanted to give to you. So if you like the video, great. Subscribe to the channel. And if you want to work with me, great. And there'll be links in the description. And you can help with my mission of getting 50 of these by the end of the year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.